Kiana, so for you, when somebody is looking to purchase a home, what do they need to have together? What do they need to bring to you before you work with them?
The first thing I'm looking for, if you are looking to purchase a home, is you need to come with a pre-approval letter. Not a pre-qualification letter, but a pre-approval letter saying that someone has looked at your assets.
What's the difference between the two?
The difference is with a pre-qualification letter, they'll run your credit and you can tell them what your assets are. So you can tell them how much money you make, you can tell them how much money you have saved, and they're going to look at it like that. So a pre-qualification is you telling someone, hey, they look at your credit, you tell them how much money you make, and then they just go off of that and say you're pre-qualified. But a pre-approval is you fill out a mortgage application, they look at your credit, they make you submit documents to prove your assets, they verify those assets, and then they say that you are pre-approved. Anybody can have a high credit score and say, hey, I make $1 million a month, thank you for the pre-qualification. But not everybody can say, here is my credit score, here are my assets, here are my bank statements, here are my 1099s, here's everything I need to prove my income, and now I have a mortgage approval. So you want to come into this with the mortgage approval to ensure that you're not only wasting not wasting your time, but the real estate agent's time, because you want to make sure that you're able and willing to purchase the property.
Because to piggyback off of you, once again, people say I make $100,000 a month or what have you, but you may have so much other debt and other like liabilities going against that $100,000 that you really only making $1,000 a month, so you can't afford a building. And what goes into the how the banks determine the pre-approval letter is what they actually do is they take the past tax returns along with the personal financial statement and looking at your income and the bank statements and everything, and what they do is they incorporate that debt already in there to see if you can support that debt. If it shows that you can support that debt, you can. I don't care if you make $1 million a month, you can get that pre-approval letter, even if it's for a building that's for $200,000, and that goes for both personal and commercial.
Yes.
So that's why, guys, like, it's so important that, like, once you do start making money, that you really like save and invest and put those dollars up. A lot of people, you know, once they start making money, they want to go get these big, nice, fancy cars. Most of the people that even know my story, like, I just started riding in these nice little luxury vehicles. I for the longest, I had a nice little 5 Series BMW, and then I had my little Range Rover. Remember 2 Chainz? Remember 2 Chainz talking about? Now me and Ty was laughing because when we first, yeah,
they're
good vehicles. They're good vehicles, and they're reasonable.
No, they said they have mechanical.
And they're reasonable. But we was laughing because, you know, I had the little Range Rover when we first opened up Escobar. He was like, I remember they was tagging the hell out of that goddamn Range Rover. He was like, yeah, you big money Snoop now, but they was breaking into that little damn Range Rover.
I remember that, man. Snoop would be out at Escobar all night, and then you see that one
all day, all night.
I don't know how this happened.
So just definitely, you know, very important to make sure that, you know, you stacking your money up, you know, because I tell people this all the time. Cash is king, you know. I cannot even count how many people will get a large sum of money, and the first thing they want to go do is go pay something all the way off. Something that they may only be paying $100 and something a month for. No, keep your cash. Continue to pay that little $100. Guess what? You can invest that cash in something that can actually make you the amount of money that you need to pay that bill off or whatever that is. So,
like, people a lot of times they think with their credit, like, if I pay something off early, I'm gonna get like a gold star or something like that. I think that's something we're brainwashed in when we're in elementary school or whatever. You don't. If you pay it off early or you pay it off on time, you're still gonna get the good standings on there. It's not gonna make your credit score boost up 100 points because you paid it off 5 years before you were supposed to pay it off. It's still gonna have the same effects of whatever it's gonna have if you pay it off at the time you're supposed to pay it off. So keep it on there, because from a creditor, we want to see that you have other trade lines on there that you're paying on time, that you're doing stuff with. We hate to see people with a 700 credit score but nothing on the credit report. Okay, so what are you being graded on? Just that one trade line? Like, we can't go off of that.
And of course you can buy trade lines as well.
You can.
At least
something else to think
trade
about.
lines can be bought twice ways. You can buy trade lines as an authorized user. If you're an authorized user, it doesn't have as much weight as being a primary, but it will still get you where you gotta go. You just might have to buy a couple more trade lines. But there are trade lines that are offered now where you can actually be the primary. And if you're a primary on those trade lines, you will see like a big boost on your credit score, and you don't need as many.
So an authorized user is basically like somebody like myself having a, let's say I've got a credit card with American Express, and I want to put my girlfriend on the credit card. So she's now an authorized user. So my history is going to go on her credit report. So that's the difference between being a primary user versus being an authorized user.
Which is also gambling too, because of you.
Yeah, if they do something in a negative way.
You do something negative, it's gonna show on her credit report too.
I think probably one of the best ways too is just like, for your kids, when you're trying to, build credit, for your children, is to add them, as authorized users. I think another thing too that's really important about just, the home buying process is just making sure that you're doing it at the right time. Because, we're humans, you know what I'm saying? Anybody can have a ding on their credit. They can be going through different things, but you want to, when you know that hey, I've got myself together where I almost look perfect on paper, go ahead and purchase that home, because things change. So even for me in my situation, I would say probably within like the past year, this is probably the first time that I've ever just looked really good on paper. Initially, like when I was like 20, 21, I probably owned like 6 different homes that all ended up being foreclosed on. It takes a good 7 years for all of that stuff to come off of your credit, so I knew during that period of time, unless you get somebody to actually fix your credit, that's another possible way as well. But for me, before I knew those things, it was just like, okay, well, I know I really can't do too much of anything, because credit is so important. So just for young people, as you're starting off, definitely make sure you protect your credit, protect your social security number. But anyway, so I had finally got myself to a point where, I look good on paper, my debt to income ratio is low, as Gia was saying, very liquid. And what she means by that is just, having a nice amount of cash, you know what I mean, sitting in the bank, touchable there. But for me, with being just so heavily into my businesses, so me and my business partner, it was made publicly known, that the Pablo Escobar family was suing us because of the fact that we named our business Escobar. We have a brand of restaurants that are named Escobar Restaurant and Tapas, and so honestly, really just as a publicity stunt, these people decided to, sue us, and they made it publicly known that they were suing us for $10 million. We would later settle the lawsuit for something as small as $15,000. However, that alone caused me to not be able to get a mortgage through Bank of America, a company that I pretty much, had all of my assets, all of my investments all through. And that's why it's also important to not have all your eggs in one basket, you know what I'm saying? So
not necessarily, though, if I could interject.
Go ahead.
It's not so much about not having all your eggs in one basket, because if you find something that can fulfill all your needs, then it makes sense. But I agree. Because the deeper, banks are relationship driven. So the deeper your relationship is with a bank of your choosing, the more you can use as leverage, because no bank is going to want to say, forget your $2-3 million you have with us. It's no, they're going to want to try and figure out
Bank of America did
that. Well, there are some banks that leads me to my next point. It's not so much about having all your eggs in one basket. It's about interviewing your banks that you choose to bank with, because depending on if you're an entrepreneur or what you do for a living or what have you, there's banks that cater to those industries. So you want to interview those banks to make sure they're going to be able to cater. Like the reason why you have the difficulty, coming from, working at Bank of America previously, is Bank of America is very heavy on their reputation. Reputational risk is key to them. When you're interviewing, the banks that you're banking with, like a bank that specializes, like in my area, which is sports and entertainment,
they're used to seeing those type of things.
They see it all the time. So now it's like a question of not an issue of like, you know, I have a lawsuit. It's a question of, okay, have they settled the lawsuit,
right?
You know, like, oh, what's the lawsuit about? Oh, it's about that. Oh, okay, we don't care about that. It's a name situation, rather than if it was a lawsuit of something more worse than, you know, we might have, you know, a bigger issue. But as you're growing and your money is growing, your assets are enlarging, that's when you have to take a step back and say, okay, because there's banks that specialize in real estate. There's banks that specialize in just commercial lending. There's banks that's like traditional banks, not those private, you know, lenders that we're talking about. So,
and I would just say definitely find out not just what they specialize in, but what their processes are and how their communication is. Like, you can ask people, like, it's okay to say, so what are your general processes when this happens? Like, how often am I going to hear from you? How soon is someone going to look at my file?
Because we even had an issue with Bank of America and their communication, you know, with the loan officers, you know, that we had.
But that has key too, though, in that
we had to involve Sonya. I had to be like, look, Sonya,
that's what I'm saying.
I need you on this.
That brings you back to the interviewing process. Like you could have a bank that caters to your industry, but have a banker that's lazy, or have a banker that's nonchalant, or not proactive, reactive. You got to have some people who are proactive. I'm not reactive. I try to think about all the negatives on the front end. When I get my loans, like when I got your loan, I looked at I already knew about the lawsuit, but I also dived into your financials myself before I even got into an underwriter to see where the you know, where the hair is. Every loan has hair on it. So how much hair are we dealing with, and what are we actually dealing with? So I already knew what flaws you had and what I was up against, so I could address it to the underwriter before I even got to the underwriter. So that's what I say about being interviewing your bank. It's not just finding a bank that specializes in what you do, but it's also interviewing that particular banker that's trying to earn your business. At your level, you have bankers trying to earn your business, but at some people's levels, you have people, they're just walking into the bank. So now it's like, okay, there's 4 bankers that work in this financial center. Which banker do I want to go to every single time?
And I always tell my business consulting clients, create a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just go in and open up an account, you know what I mean? And then have nobody that, you know what I mean, you can, you know, interact with it.
Buy the teller some donuts. They handle your deposit. Donuts are like $10. Great. I've even done it myself because I own my own businesses too. I have another bank that I do a majority of my banking at. At first, you know, they wasn't really too friendly to me. I'm coming in, I'm dropping big checks, and like, they don't know who I am, double looking my checks and everything. I looked at them, I know how to fix this. I went to Dunkin' Donuts, spent $20. Brought in a dozen donuts and a thing of coffee. Guess what? They break their neck. I did that in September. Even to this day, they break their neck. Hi, Gia. Hi, Miss Saret. What can I do for you? That's all they just want to see that you actually care about them. Because if they see that you care about them, they're gonna care about you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that much. And then you find that one banker, you build that one rapport with that one banker. He or she's gonna fight for you as if it's theirs. Like, I fought for your loan as if I'm moving into that house. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me no to the house I want. You get what I'm saying? So you got it. That's what you look for when you're interviewing your banker. How hungry are they? What also, like, you know, what are their plans? Because you don't want to build a rapport with somebody who plans on being a branch manager over in Riverdale tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? And then once you build that rapport, trust me, things will fall into your favor, because it's relationship driven, and it's whoever you're talking to who's picking up the phone talking to them. So if you have a fighter like me, they're gonna get it done. If you have somebody nonchalant, it's gonna fall through the cracks.
And another thing is, you know, don't hold up your own process. So, you know, there's the mortgage process is extremely stressful. It's tedious. They're going to be hitting you up every day asking for different things, you know, and you want to get those things back to them as quickly as possible. You know what I mean? Because there's all different types of deadlines and things of that nature when you're buying your home. So we got all of the hard work done. Y'all done got all these jewels. About to go in here and sign on this dotted line. Make this thing official. I think Kiana about to go ahead and pull up some shots.
You know,
and we about to go on. We about to go on and do this thing. Do this thing. Thank you.
Oh, hi.
Good,
You guys have taken great care of it.
well, there's good karma there. I'm sorry that you saw it today, but
No, it's okay. I'm glad I seen it packed up. So
I feel like I've been sleeping in sacks the last couple of
I'm sure. I'm
Anyway,
sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Attorney Kendra Robinson, you guys can help you.
Okay.
These are the total closing costs here, and it was the cash to close. And you wired me in more than that a while ago, so you'll get the money back. You want a check or a wire?
It doesn't matter. Doing this fine for me. Does it look like the credit is probably
A part of it,
about
but
the
no,
same?
this is just based off when you first interacted with them. They said, okay, well, it'll probably cost this much.
Okay.
How much you'll probably have to bring to closing.
Okay.
But those numbers almost always change, so. And it did slightly. I mean, it could be, this is the maximum that it would be. And it's controlled by these terms in this table. First change will be 5%. All the other changes going forward will just be 2%.
Gotcha.
So I will be right back, guys. We're done signing.
Yo, there is no better time to start a business than right now. And I've got the perfect tool to help you to do so. My masterclass, How to Start Your Own Business, Entrepreneurship 101. So if you're looking to start your own business or to further the business that you currently have, this is definitely a masterclass that you don't want to miss out on. Every online course that I have also gives you a list of referrals, so I'll also be giving referrals on the best CPAs, attorneys, bankers, credit personnel to work with here in the industry as well. So be sure that you guys head on over to my website, WhoIsSnoop.com, click the link on my bio, go to my YouTube, WhoIsSnoop, so that you can take advantage of this masterclass. I'm telling you guys, you'll be starting your own business tomorrow.
No.
Are we doing it now?
Look, I was just about to pick on you like, Kiana, you know you do not be taking shots like this.
No, let me hype myself up and just say my piece first. Then I'll feel better about it. I just want to say I'm so grateful that you decided to work with me on your home buying process. Like, I know you had many choices in the Atlanta area, and it has been not just a pleasure, but literally you're just like good people. Like, from the moment that I started keeping up with you on social media, you was good people, been consistent throughout this home buying process, and you allowed me to do my job, which is very important because everything I do is to protect the best interest of you. And you trusted me through the process, and I was able to just give you some honest feedback when it came to super big houses. I was like, nah, like, if I was you, you know what I mean? Just because you can buy it don't mean you should get it. And I just wanted to be honest with you. Like, when I walked in this house, when I saw this house online, I ain't gonna front. I was told my husband, I said, this is our house. But I was like, this is the perfect house for them. Like, you know what I mean? It's y'all, you don't need something too big. And I wanted you to be comfortable. You know, I didn't want to sell you something super big that you couldn't just like enjoy. Like, you can enjoy every corner of this house. It gives you the privacy that you want. It already has like the love in it, and you guys are gonna bring more love to it. And when I tell you, like, I just never met somebody so deserving, because you work so hard. Like, I work all the time, so I recognize when people work all the time. So I took it personal to make sure that you got what you wanted, how you wanted it. And when I say I'm just grateful, I am. I'm happy for you. I know you're gonna continue to do great things. You're just good people, and it's hard to catch that. Like,
Thank you so much. Really good people. Ooh.
Met you, like I said it on the Sprinter van, but I'll say it amongst more people. Like, I just was very impressed who you were referred to me through. It's very selective on who he chooses to work with. So the fact that he chose to work with you, I already knew that, like, you know, you already had your head on your shoulders. But then just watching you from like a friend standpoint, even from a mentor standpoint, because I do look up to you, and even from, like, you know, a banker standpoint, I've just been impressed throughout the years. You know, I've seen your growth. I've seen you when we first opened Escobar to where we are, you know, now you opening Esco Seafood, and even, like, you know, some of the issues we ran into at Escobar, we don't even think about those anymore, and that contributes to your growth.
I can tell, like, how hard you worked on this, you know what I mean, effortlessly, and, you know, just helped to meet, you know, all of the deadlines, especially, you know, during the holiday season. You know, you as well, Greg, you know, definitely appreciate it, and, you know, just look forward to doing more business with you guys. You know, I'm always buying investment properties and doing different things, so, you know, my business partner as well, we buy a lot of buildings together. You know, most of, probably half of the restaurants that we own, we actually own the building as well, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, just, I really, you know, appreciate, you know, all three of you guys, you know, working on this for me. You know, it's a huge accomplishment, you know, for me. Of course, never bought a house, you know, of this magnitude. And, you know, bigger and better, you know, going up from here. Cheers.
Oh, come on, you deserve it.
So you got a big one coming up?
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
I wouldn't have guessed that. You know,
That's all you. I be drinking my water.
I thought maybe.
Nice. I ain't seen this.
No, me neither.
I ain't seen this. Okay. Oh, you done wrapped it. Nice. Oh.
That's beautiful.
Oh.
Now don't be ripping that all up.
I don't even want you to see what's in it now, because it's very nice. Wow. You're going to take time to wrap this.
This is so sweet of you. Oh, this Kiana picked us up with, oh, these are dope. Nice.
You know, I figured you could have your tequila with the lime juice up in there.
Okay, Kiana, I'm going to give you my first
Pass your hand.
Sanders, Robinson, and Scott, Titles and Associates.
Aw, thank you so much, Kendra. Appreciate it, babe.
For putting our name on your contract.
You're very welcome. I'll always put your name on my contract, friend.
I'm glad we closed with them. That's what's up.
Friend be supporting me. Like, we support each other.
That's what's up.
That's beautiful.
Big money Snoop.
Big money.
Assistant right now, Snoop. Okay. I'm tired of you.
What it do? You know, I just closed now.
Congratulations, look at that smile.
Hey, child, my realtor done bought me all type of Gucci and Versace, child. I gotta send her your way, cause this thing ought to treat her.
India gonna cut you for that.
What you all?
And that's what I bought that air fryer for the new crib, so y'all gonna smell it up.
Oh, nah, I'm gonna treat you. I'm gonna make you some dinner.
Okay? You know what I'm saying? That was something, man. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. For real, you deserve it, girl. You be going hard.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. Cheers.
Thank you, Snoop.
Y'all should literally like pat yourself
And
on
thank
the
your
back.
CPA, and of course your.
We did that on
real estate
Friday.
agent.
I know finances. I know. I am.
rodeo.
No, I used to do everything. I used to do everything that y'all are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very knowledgeable. And I'm happy we could get it done. You know, I'm looking forward to, you know, refinancing it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know what I mean? But I get it, you know, I get it. So I was a financial advisor and I was a realtor before I started doing what I do now. So
In Tennessee doing the real estate.
in Tennessee, yeah. So I helped get a whole development open. You know what I mean? A log cabin development about 80 miles north of Memphis. But yeah, so I have a lot of different backgrounds to help me to understand things. You know what I mean? At all periods. So
You used to host a little spot.
Oh yeah, we should drink up.
I bet you been on me, huh?
What do you all want to drink?
We'll get to that. Let me tell the story. We'll get to that one in a minute.
Oh, okay.
So A1, I was like, child, I'm getting bored. I ain't got no good hoes. No good hoes. Baby, I'm still eating that.
We're gonna pack it up for you.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna start following in these hoes' inboxes. And I swear, I swear about 2 weeks later, this thing, so one of my favorite shows is American Greed. One of my favorite shows is American Greed. So it's really her favorite show because she had posted so much. American Greed literally sent her paraphernalia. And so I literally DM her probably like 10 p.m. We 6 a.m. through the DM, back and forth.
Chit chat.
So I was just like,
go to Jamaica with her that night.
You lie.
I was like, this girl is
So I was just like, you know, I was like, you gonna give me your number or what, girl? And so then the next, so she gave me her number that night. I text her. So then the next morning, she texts me like, hey, boo. I'm like, okay, I get it. I appreciate Gia. And I appreciate Greg, and I appreciate Kiana with just getting on my YouTube and telling you guys just a lot of little different things that like y'all need to be in preparation for when it's time for y'all to get into this house. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't matter how much money you make. If you don't have on paper,
it don't count.
If you can't prove it, you lose it.
My first 3 years in the industry, I was doing like Gia said. I was having them only report 100,000. You know what I mean? And you know you got to do that. You know when you are trying to get yourself in a position to get the type of home that you want to get. You know what I mean? And so a lot of the times for me, it's not about just me doing what I'm doing. It's about showing y'all how to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm big on. You know what I mean? And I didn't name myself Big Money Snoop.
Somebody named her that, but she did.
Number one, so this girl right here, Kendra, she's not only a realtor, but she also has a title company, which I was so proud of. Thank you. I don't buy a damn that has to be $1.
Let me be the pit bull that I am. Y'all hear me? Be a pit bull, but I'm nice to y'all. I'm nice to you.
He's a pit bull.
But I'm nice to everybody else.
He's definitely a pit bull.
I'm trying to get
people work so hard in their lives, but like this has been one of like the best days of my life. You know what I'm saying?